Good afternoon, everybody. It's Core here. Ready for Diary of an Artist. I think we're on episode 8 today. I got a request to do this video specifically on YouTube regarding galleries. So today we're going to discuss galleries, the ins and outs, the pros and cons. So I'm going to start with some, you can see I have all my notes here quite a bit this time. It's going to be a long one. I'm going to talk about some things regarding galleries overall. So that's what we're going to go start with. And then I'm going to get into the process of applying for a gallery and then being approached by a gallery, because they're two very different things. So I'm going to have a sip of coffee first. And here we go. So my number one point with galleries overall is to determine if you're ready or not. Are you ready? Jumping into a gallery relationship is a pretty big step. There's a lot of expectations on both parts. So hopefully the list that I'm going to give you will help you determine whether or not you are ready. So number one, commission. Galleries take approximately between 40 and 60% of commission on the pieces that you give them for sale. So keep that in mind. That's right at the top. It's money. So they're going to be taking 40 to 60% of the cost of your painting. Number two, contracts versus no contracts. Some galleries don't make you sign a contract. They don't have one. It's just a gentleman's agreement, so to speak. And there are some that have very detailed contracts. So you need to determine whether or not which one works best for you, and ask that question. If you're considering a gallery that has no contract, you're taking a lot more risk when it comes to promotion and marketing, because there's no set schedule. They're not telling you what they're going to do for you. They're not writing it down. It's not official. So keep that in mind. There's more of a risk when there's no contract, but still, that's something that you have to consider. Number three are no shows. So most galleries that I know of here, at least in Ottawa, is if you sign with a gallery, you agree to be one of their represented artists, they don't want you doing local shows. So they want you to have your stuff at their gallery exclusively. They don't want you doing other venues. So that's another thing you have to consider. The other one is shows within or outside city limits. Again, although you might not want to do, the galleries might not want you to do shows inside the city limits, is it okay to go to another city to do a shows there? So most galleries have like an area where you can't show. So find that out as well. Number four, no private sales or commissions that are initiated by the gallery. So what that means is if you get a personal email to your website, Instagram, or Facebook that say, hey, I was just at so-and-so gallery and I saw this piece and I love it. Can I buy it from you directly? The answer is no. Or if they say, I want you to do a commission based on that piece I saw at that gallery, technically you owe a commission to the gallery on all commissions that were initiated by that gallery. So keep that in mind as well. If you're the type of artist who gets a lot of commissions, you need to be fair and transparent with that gallery regarding commissions that are that reach out to you from the gallery or from a client who's seen your stuff at a gallery. You still pay the 40 to 60% on those commissions. Now, some galleries will negotiate that with you. They'll take less of a commission because they're really not selling anything for you. They didn't really do any of the marketing and promotion, but that's something you definitely have to look into. Number five is marketing and promotion. So what exactly are they doing for you to take such a large cut of a commission? Are they sending out emails regarding your work, Instagram posts, Facebook? Are they doing a vernissage, so like an introduction night, wine and cheese, where they invite a lot of people to come and see your stuff? You need to figure that out. You need to write it down. So some galleries don't do any of that. And some of them do a fair bit of it. So you need to determine whether or not the gallery that you're looking at is willing to put in the marketing and promotional work for you to earn that 50 or 40 to 60%. If you don't think they are, maybe you should try to renegotiate that commission percentage. So I'll leave that up to you. Number 6, money. When they sell a piece of yours, when are you getting your money? Super, super clear. Some galleries will be like they call it net 30. So they have to pay you within 30 days of the sale. Some other galleries don't even touch on that subject. You can get your cut 3 to 4 months after they sell. So that's something you have to consider. Some will give you the money right away. Some might make you wait for months. So make sure you ask that question when you are looking to get into this gallery idea. Number 7, how many pieces do they require from you at any given time? The galleries in this city normally require about 6 to 12 pieces, depending on the size of the gallery. So the gallery that I'm in, they like anywhere between 8 to 12 pieces. Now, about that, they don't want small pieces. They don't want your 20 by 20s. Nothing like that. They want, I would say 24 by 36 is pretty much the smallest painting they want in an official or like a real gallery. The larger, the better. 36 by 36, 36 by 40, 50, 60, like they want big. So if you're not someone who creates on big platforms, big canvases, panels, you might consider trying to do that, because galleries will, in my experience, will only buy or only represent artists that sell on big canvases or panels. Number 8, in and out privileges. So what that means is most galleries will not let you come in and out with your pieces. So for example, if I was doing a show in another city and the gallery has a piece that I thought would really do well at that show, I can't just go to them and say, give me that piece. I want to bring it to this show. Some do, but if the ones that do, they'll probably charge you a commission if you sell that piece. So keep that in mind. If you give them a collection of 8 pieces, they have those 8 pieces anywhere to 6 to 12 months. Okay, we're going to touch on that in a minute. Number 9, gallery pricing means that you are going to take a hit after your commission. That's the way it goes. 40 to 60% is off your regular price, not your gallery price. So in other words, you shouldn't raise your prices to maintain your regular price. I hope that makes sense. So if you have a piece that's $100, let's just say $100, when you give it to a gallery who takes 50%, you're not going to raise your price on that piece to $200 in order for you to keep the $100 that you would have made in a private sale. That's not the way it works. You give them that piece for $100, they sell it, you get $50. And the reason why that's important is because if a buyer comes to the gallery and buys that piece and then loves it for obvious reasons, and then finds you and tracks you down in your city and comes to one of your shows and sees that you are selling that painting for half the price that they bought it for at the gallery, you're going to have a very angry client, and you might lose some future business. And it's just not good business. Now, I know that my gallery that I'm with, they have control over my pricing, so I have to follow their lead. So whatever they charge for my pieces, I have to charge on my personal side as well. Give or take. I add about 10 to 15% discounts on occasions, but typically, traditionally, you have to remain at the same prices that you're selling at the gallery, regardless of your commission. So you are going to take a hit. So keep that in mind. And number 10, the overall, is negotiate a swap date. So what a swap date is, if you haven't sold anything in a certain given time, you want to be able to swap those paintings out and take them to other shows, other venues, and give them something fresh and new. So you really need to talk to them about that in particular, because you don't want them hanging on to paintings in their storage room that aren't seeing the light of day. Okay, so that's really important. So those are the top 10s that I have for you. And now I'm going to touch briefly on the 2 scenarios regarding galleries if you are being approached or if you are applying. So I'm going to focus on the applying one first. So again, if you are ready, you have to determine if you're ready. It's a big step to be represented by a gallery. So number one, when you're applying online, usually you need top quality pictures of your paintings. Nothing that you've taken with a phone. You need someone to come in who has a professional camera, professional setup. They need to be super high resolution, high definition, pixels, the whole 9 yards. You need them to be super quality pictures. And they need to represent the art as it is in real time. So in other words, don't take a picture, bring it into Photoshop and play with the contrast to make it look more popping and bright if that's not the way it is in real life. Because if they take that piece and they realize, well, that's not what you applied for, it's the fastest way for you to ruin that relationship, and they might just drop you right from the get-go. So be very careful with that. Really good pictures. Apply with pieces that you have available at that time. So don't send an application with 5 beautiful pictures of paintings that you've already sold. They do not want that. They want to know that the pieces that you're applying for are available to them at this time. Okay. Have a bio and a background piece all ready to go. So every artist should have an artist bio, and then a background piece will give the gallery a little bit of history on who you are. My piece of advice on this, on the side in brackets, is have somebody proofread this, because I can tell you from experience, if you get a bio or a background that has spelling mistakes and grammar mistakes, that's just unprofessional. It's something that I would look for, and I would probably just put you to a side. If you can't type up a bio or a background without making tons of spelling mistakes and that kind of stuff, it just doesn't make you look very good. So get someone to read it, proofread it, and get it all done. In that background, give them a history of your sales. So in other words, they want to know that you have pieces that are sellable, that you are marketable, that they can promote you, and you are going to garnish clients into their gallery. So don't be afraid to say, you've done all these shows, you've sold 30 pieces the last year, whatever the case may be. Don't be afraid to advertise yourself and promote yourself to this gallery. That's what they want. They want to know you're a sure thing. When you're applying, also, my last point for applying is read the terms and conditions listed on the application. Excuse me. Have a good profile pic available to them as well, because that's what the picture they're going to use for the promotion. But their terms and conditions are very important. It will outline swap dates, commissions, collection amounts, how many pieces you have to do for a collection to be given, vernissages, all that kind of stuff. They're going to have that in their terms and conditions. If they don't, be sure to have that conversation with them. Don't walk away after applying and just expecting everything to be fair and transparent. It's not. It's not the way it works. Okay. Lastly, we're going to talk about whether you are approached. So I was approached. So this is something I can relate to. And my number one thing for people who are approached is, are you ready? Usually you're not even thinking about a gallery when you're approached. I wasn't. It was my very first year. It was my very first show. And someone came up to me and said, here's my card. We want to represent you. And I freaked out. So you need to be really sure, and don't be afraid to say no. So I said no. It was my very first year into the business, and I wasn't ready. The idea of being in a gallery was very overwhelming. So I just said no. I said, I need some time to build a client base, to get my confidence up, to believe in my work. And at that time, I didn't. I was just hoping for the best. So don't be afraid to say no. If you do decide that this is something you want to do, make sure you have a face-to-face meeting with the gallery. So it's great for them and it's great for you. They want to build a rapport with the artist. They want to get to know who you are, how you feel when you paint, what some of your techniques are. They want your story so they can relate that story to clients. Because a lot of the time, clients are buying a painting about 60%. 40% is that they're buying it because of you. So you need to have that story ready, and you need to be able to communicate it with the gallery. So face-to-face meetings for sure. Review the contract. So if they do have a contract, review it and don't be afraid to make demands of your own. So if you see something in the contract that you're not sure of, you can say, well, I want it to say this, or I want to add this. Do not be afraid to change the contract between you and the gallery. Nothing is set in stone. And if it's a gallery that says it's this way or no way, walk away. You do not want to be tied to a gallery that does not allow flexibility between the gallery itself and the artist, something you don't want to get into. So don't be afraid to make demands and read that contract very specifically. Number 4, whether you have a contract or whether it's no contract, but especially if there's no contract, follow up with an email to the gallery with the terms, conditions, discussions, points, elements that you had in that face-to-face meeting. So be clear and concise with your expectations of that gallery. And then you can also tell them what you understood of their expectations. So you can say, as I understood it, you require me to do this, 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 and this. And from my standpoint, I expect you to do this, 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 and this. Don't be afraid to do that. It's really good business practice. And at least you have a paper copy in your email, which you're going to keep, of mutual expectations. So if anything happened down the road that it just didn't turn out, didn't work out, hopefully it didn't go any kind of legal way, but at least you would have that piece of paper that outlined everybody's point of view and expectations moving forward. And my last point was, you're both businesses, okay? You're both running a business. Don't feel powerless. You actually have a lot more power, because without a gallery, you can still sell art. Without art, there is no gallery, right? Makes perfect sense. So don't be afraid to stand up for yourself and treat yourself as a business. Because as I said in one of the earlier diaries, 1 or 2, this is a business. Yes, you get to paint and be creative, but not the majority, but a large part of this journey is business. So don't forget that. Anyway, that's it. I hope I answered some of your questions. If I haven't, drop me a line in the comments and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. I think next time we're going to hit, I have some notes here, we're going to hit commissions. So I get that question quite a bit as well. So we're going to cover commissions. All right. Have yourself a good day. Wash your hands. Don't touch your face. Bye, everybody.